Please take your seats, council members. Please take your seats.
Central High School's gonna come in 2 weeks. So
Okay.
we can have
Okay.
three will be paying.
Brown.
Ready? Cedric. Ready? Would the Sergeant at Arms please call us to order? If we could, before our invocation, we just want to have just a moment of silence today to honor a witness to history and a maker of history, Reverend Samuel Billy Kyles. He stood on the balcony with Dr. Martin Luther King on April 4th. He actually met with Dr. King at the Lorraine Motel to take him to dinner that night. He was the recipient of this City Council's Humanitarian Award in the year 2000. He was an NAACP strategist. He was the founder of Operation PUSH, and he was also a board member and a trustee of the National Civil Rights Museum. But really, he worked tirelessly for social justice. So if you would, just bow your heads as we remember Dr. Kyles. Yes.
I would also like for us to recognize the life of Mr. Pat Carter. Mr. Pat Carter was one of the first African-American automobile dealerships. His loss took place this past week as well, so I would ask that we recognize Mr. Pat Carter during this time as well.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. Our chaplain of the day is Reverend John Sewell from St. John's Episcopal Church, presented by Councilman Worth Morgan.
Let us pray. O Lord our God, you display your glory in all creation and despise nothing you have made. Grant wisdom to the members of this city council, in whose hands the people of Memphis have entrusted the ordering of our common life. Give them insight, restraint, and courage as they consider the competing and contending values and concerns of our citizenry. And Lord, give them this day the wisdom you gave Solomon as they are asked to judge between two goods, dividing flora from fauna. Grant that all who call Memphis home such wisdom and such vision as to see beyond partisan issues alone, but looking for and in due season accomplishing the common good. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, one God, now and forever. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Morgan, we just did the invocation. Did you want to present Reverend Sewell with something?
We have a presentation for Reverend Sewell.
Icon?
And in recognition of a life of exemplary qualities and outstanding service to the city, meritorious involvement in humanitarian affairs, and demonstrated concern for governmental process, that has been appointed Chaplain of the Day of the Memphis City Council. And I just want to say that Reverend Sewell has been really the minister of my home church, St. John's Episcopal Church. He's been very influential in my life, and I think at times you said you believed in me more than I believed in myself, and that's absolutely true. And I just want to thank you for being a mentor and for being there and being a spiritual leader, not only myself, but to many in the Memphis area and the congregation, and the work you've done in lives of individuals as well as some of the nonprofits in this community. Just absolutely thank you, and from the bottom of my heart and soul.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Madam Comptroller, please call the roll.
Council members Boyd, Brown, Covette, Ford, Fully Love, Hedgepeth, Jones, Morgan, Morrison, Robinson, Spinoza, Swearingen, Chairman Conrad.
We have a quorum.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Who's read the previous meeting minutes from April 19th? Dr. Ford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The minutes of the previous meeting have been read, and I find them fully in order, and I'd like to move their adoption electronically.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilman Ford, been seconded by Councilman Boyd. Seeing no council members in the queue, please cast your votes for the minutes.
We got one council member that hasn't logged into the computer, so can we wait a couple of seconds? Ms. Robinson's in now. All right.
Please cast your votes, council members.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Covette, yes. Conrad, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Welcome to the May 3rd, 2016 meeting of the Memphis City Council. Just if anybody wants to speak on any issue that the council is talking about tonight, either resolutions or anything up for third reading, please see our Sergeant at Arms, Officer Cedric Young. And then if there's any topic at all, the other topic, those items will be held to the heel of the meeting. Just please make sure we get your name and address and you repeat that when you come up to the podium. We'd appreciate it. Items 2 and 3 are going to be held for 2 weeks. Item 34 is going to be dropped. And item 4 is going to be held also for 2 weeks. Okay. Item 4, held for 2 weeks. So 2, 3, and 4 are held for 2 weeks. Item 34 is being dropped. With that, please call the order of the day.
Item number 1 is a resolution honoring Reginald Jones for his induction into the first class of University of Tennessee Athletic Hall of Fame for his accomplishments in track and field. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Covette.
Thank you. Councilman Colbert.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, fellow members of the Memphis City Council, resolution, whereas the Memphis City Council sees fit to recognize the many athletic and educational accomplishments of Reginald Jones, and whereas Reginald Jones was born in Saginaw, Michigan to Carl and Bertha Jones, where he excelled in basketball, football, and track. And whereas Mr. Jones, a key member of the University of Tennessee 1974 National Championship track team, earned the Most Valuable Player Award and highest tally of points by a Tennessee Vol at the National Collegiate Athletic Association Championship. And whereas Mr. Jones was known as an individual and standout runner as well as a relay team member, received All-American honors in the 60, 100, and 220-yard dash and the 400-yard relay. And whereas in 1974, Mr. Jones won the 100-meter and 200-meter races in the United States versus Russia international meet, beating the then Olympic champion Valery Berzov from Russia. And whereas on July 26, 1975, running in Boston, Mr. Jones won the 100 event, recording a world record time, and the time stands as University of Tennessee all-time 100-yard record, a record that identified Mr. Jones as the fastest man in the world and was included in the Guinness Book of World Records. And whereas Mr. Jones has dedicated his professional career to his twin passions of education and coaching, as a 36-year veteran educator and coach of the Hillcrest High School Lady Vikings basketball state championships in 2006, and whereas Mr. Jones provided athletic advice and worked with his players to receive academic and athletic scholarships to attend universities in Kentucky, Louisiana, Nebraska, Tennessee, Georgia, Mississippi, and Illinois, just to name a few. Whereas Mr. Jones was inducted into the inaugural class of Saginaw, Michigan Athletic Hall of Fame, named Tennessee Secondary School Athletic Association 2006 Coach of the Year, and 2006 Tennessee Sports Writer Coach of the Year. And whereas Mr. Jones was inducted into the Penn Relays Hall of Fame in 1998 for his individual accomplishments, and again in 2006 with his 1976 champion, University of Tennessee relay team. Now therefore be it resolved by the Memphis City Council that Reginald Jones be recognized for his induction into the inaugural class of the University of Tennessee Athletic Hall of Fame. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Thank you, Councilman Colvett. It's been moved by Councilman Colvett, seconded by Councilman Berlin Boyd. All in favor, respond by saying aye. Aye. The item passes.
Congratulations. Well done, sir. You have some good stuff.
Thank you all very much.
Go hang out 1 second if you would. I know Councilwoman Robinson would like to say a few words.
Hillcrest is in my district, and I want to say congratulations. Oh, okay, Phyllis, what did you say? Okay, congratulations. Well, I went to school at Corey with his wife, but I just want to say congratulations to you. You've done such an awesome job, and I want to say to my colleague, Mr. Colbert, I really appreciate you reaching out to the athletic directors in our community and our coaches. As you know, I don't know anything about athletics, but I want them recognized, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Councilman Brown.
Thank you, Chairman Conrad. Look, let me congratulate you for being known, Mr. Jones, as the fastest man in the world. I think that's excellent. 1971, I think that's excellent. You're a good mentor, and you set an example for other young men to follow. But I got one little problem with this presentation. I think that Ms. Jones need to come up and make sure that the photograph is in place. Ms. Jones, you need to come up. I don't mind taking a picture with the fastest man in the world. Now, I don't mind being on this picture because I gotta let people know I know this man. 1970.
And I laughed because she
Thank you, Councilman Colbert and Councilman Brown. Madam Comptroller, please call item number 5.
Item number 5 is a resolution approving a planned development located on the northwest quadrant of I-40 in Hollywood containing 20.82 acres vacant land in the commercial mixed-use zoning district. This resolution is sponsored by the Office of Planning and Development. It was held from April 19th. The case number is PD 16-01.
Councilman Colbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is the applicant for PD 1601? May I have your name and address for the record?
Yes. Bridget McCall, Salamito Land Planning, 2067 Kirby Parkway.
Thank you very much. Is there any opposition to case number 5, PD-1601? There is opposition. Before we get to that, Mr. Chairman, I've had a request for a hold from the applicant, and therefore, since we could not hear it upstairs for lack of time, I'm going to make the motion that we hold this until the first available July meeting.
Without objection?
Object.
Is there a second to the objection? Who does? Alan. Let me just, if you would, so we had a motion and objection. Do we go to immediate vote, or is there on the objection? The objection.
You have what now?
The motion was made, Councilman Brown objected. Just to hold.
Okay, his objection would be tantamount to an amendment to have it heard now, and it would have to be decided.
So it's got to have a second and then a...
Yes, it
Okay,
does.
so is there a second to the objection? Okay, it's been seconded by Councilman Full. Is there any discussion on the objection to hold? Councilman Brown.
Thank you, Chairman Conrad. Well, the citizens of Fraser, they've been here at least 4 times on this particular item, this particular item. This item has been presented, but they came last 2 weeks ago, and basically they were sent back again. The item was held then. This item has been held at least 3 times at the most, coming up to the 3rd time. But I think it's unfair for the citizens of Memphis to have to come and consistently continue to come down to the city council meetings on something that they do not want in their community. And they were here last week, they were 35 strong, or 40. But the thing is, this is something that they do not want in their community. Now, we're not going to force this particular entity in their community. It's something that they don't want. And I'm getting suspicious about these delays, too. And I want the applicant to know that as well. The thing is that the citizens have spoken. They were here today earlier for the P&Z meeting. It was at least about 25 of them, or maybe 30. But at the same time is they just don't want it in their community. They're trying to rebuild their communities to the standards and quality of life that they want to have for their children, for themselves, and for the seniors in the area. Truck stops are not the end thing. They didn't want it out in Whitehaven. They definitely don't want them out east. So why should this be forced down on, put this particular burden to be put on them as a community? When a community don't want something, we don't suppose to put it in. It's not like what we're delaying for July for. They're not going to go away. They're going to come back. So we just can't do these things. So let's be fair in the process. And I speak to the colleagues. Fraser is Burley and Boyce District. He's been working with, I don't even know whether he's there. He's been working with this Fraser United group. And the thing is, they just don't want this in their community. So what do we do as a council, as a body? Same thing that we did in Chickasaw Garden. The same thing we did in Belle Meade. The same things that we do all over the city, Midtown, downtown, everywhere that you can name. We just want to be fair in the process. And I tell my colleagues, let's be fair in the process. If you don't want a predator in your neighborhood, a child molester, then you protest against it. So these people don't want a truck stop in their community, and they're coming out in full force. So that's the reason why I asked for the delay, because they do not want it. They have shown concerns. They've talked to the District 7 rep, Berlin Board, Councilman Board, and he knows that they don't want it. So I don't know what the consistency on consistently trying to put this in their community. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilman Brown. Please, Councilman Colbert.
I'm up, or is Mr. Councilman Boyd in the queue?
Well, according to this, you were, and then I've got Swearinger. Are you showing in the queue?
I'd like to hear from Councilman Boyd since that's his district. If you...
Okay, Councilman Swearinger, are you in the queue as well? What is your? I've got Boyd, Colbert, Swearingen, and everybody's but mine. So I'm going to go in that order that is reflected on everybody's screens. Councilman Boyd, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just going to have a point of information for Mr. Brown, but I wanted to make certain from OPD, is this the second time that this item's been held, or is it the third time? I thought it's been held twice. Twice, right?
Testing. Okay.
We're up now.
This item has been held once before, and if held again, it will be the second time that this item would have been
All right,
held.
thank you. Eating on my 5 minutes. So therefore, within their rights, the applicant has another opportunity to hold this particular item, correct?
This is Josh Whitehead with the Office of Planning and Development. It is my understanding that the council's rules provide no limitation on the number of holds on a land use case.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Whitehead. Well, you know, with all due respect, I know kind of where I'm leaning on this particular item as far as my vote. I shared it with Fraser United as far as where I stand on this issue. With the respect of the developers, she said that you guys were going to have another meeting or try to have another meeting with the resident. I think they've been pretty adamant and advocating against this particular station. So, you know, I'm personally for the whole, but I will tell you, I don't think that your outcome will be any different as it pertains with meeting with the residents, and I think we're just basically prolonging the inevitable as to what the residents and the citizens in Fraser are saying that they won't or do not want. So I just wanted to say this publicly. You know, we can call for the vote and see what happens, but my stance is pretty much the same. The residents are speaking. They've been coming out meeting after meeting to show that they don't support it, and that's the direction that I think we're going to go into. But out of respect for you guys, if you want to hold it, I'm in agreement with your hold.
Thank you, Councilman Boyd. We've got Councilman Colbert.
I want to say thank you so much to everybody who's taking time out of their day to come down. You have a clear passion for your community. The hold, in my hope, is that y'all can reach some sort of agreement. But if that is not going to happen, I promise you that we're going to hear this first available in July. My vote is to move forward on it, but hold one more time, okay, but get with the neighbors. They're not in agreement with you. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman Colbert. Councilman Swearingen.
Thank you, Chair. I happen to be on the faculty in the Fraser area at Georgian Hills Middle, and listening to the parents and the constituents in the community, this has created a negative environment. Prostitution has begun to increase. That draws concern among the constituents, and they would really like to see this development done in a more positive manner, one that will benefit and raise and build the community. and this has created a sense of disparity. So I would like for us to possibly vote on it tonight, if we may.
Okay, thank you. I don't see any other council members in the queue, so a vote in the affirmative would be to vote on it tonight, to vote tonight. A no vote would go back to the main motion, which is to hold. Yes is now, hold is back to the main motion, which would be the, yeah, I'm sorry. A vote in the affirmative is to vote tonight. Please cast your votes.
Boyd, no. Brown, yes. Colvette, no. Ford, yes. Fully Loved, no. Hedgepeth, no. Jones, no. Morgan, no. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, no. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, no.
Okay, that item fails, so we're back to the main motion, and we do have comment cards. So I think before we, well, right, to hold, that's right. So it's held for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's there.
So do we have to vote on the hold, Mr. Wade? Do we have to vote again on the hold, or? Failed. Okay. Ms. Full.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to go back on record. I voted wrongly because I was confused. So I wanted to vote yes on that last item because I thought voting yes would mean a hold. Well, no. Anyway, I was confused.
Okay. It wouldn't have changed the vote, but thank you for stating that for the record.
Thank you.
Yeah, it would not have changed the outcome. Okay, we've got comment. If you have a comment card, if you want to speak to the hold that's been proposed, we have 4 comment cards. If you want to speak to the hold. Okay, so I have Talise Turner, Rebecca Murray, Anthony Anderson, and Larry Johnson. And if you could just tailor your comments to the debate we'll have about holding this for 2 more weeks.
Okay. Talise Turner, 2770 Mayhew Drive. I'm a 32-year resident of Fraser. We have been meeting, praying, and everything else. We have individuals that have taken off from work to come down here to address their concerns. We had people that left here just a few minutes ago, maybe 30 minutes ago, to go back to work because they had switched off with some other co-workers so they could come down here. They were told that this was going to be put on hold and read later on. But what the residents are asking you to do is give us a vote, yes or no. And we will accept what the council tells us. We want you to let us know where we are with this, because we have other issues, pressing issues that we need to be discussing, to vote on, and to move forward on. And this is kind of holding us up. We have received a large grant for our park, the Rodney Baber Park, and we're working very close with the developers on that. And we're a little confused about if we're going to put all of this money in this park and have a truck stop right by it, how are we going to promote our park, promote our community, promote just the Fraser area? We're already dying. We don't need more destruction put in Fraser. Thank you.
Thank you. Look, I'm going to go to Councilman Boyd. Councilman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to let the Fraser residents know that I just got a text, and the text read that they wanted to meet with you guys, and they requested a hold because they want to meet with you guys to talk about another use for the property other than a truck stop. So the developer and Ms. Salamito just asked if you guys would be willing to meet with her to discuss a different proposed use for the site. Just got the information a second ago, so I wanted to throw that out there.
May I speak to that?
Yes, go ahead.
Anthony Anderson, 3306 Overton Crossing. I'm one of the founders of the Memphis Business Academy Charter School Network, and I've been a part of the Fraser community for 17 years. We have no problems with meeting to discuss other usage for that property, but we've understood the process here, and as we understand the process, we are saying clearly that we do not want a truck stop. We don't want digging of tanks. We don't want the type of traffic that it brings. There's great momentum. It's been a bit of irony as people have seen us gather in these hallways, because I've had a few people to ask me, are you all requesting money from the city council? Are you asking for them to do something in the sense of asking for donations or something like that? We're not. We're not. We're saying that we want to create a comprehensive plan for that area, and yes, Councilman Boyd, we will work with them.
Okay, that, and not to interrupt you, but that's what we're just trying to figure out, because if that's the case, since they currently have an application, so they won't have to go through and redo their application. You guys can meet with them and actually talk about and discuss. I believe they said they're going to involve Mr. Massey, Sean Massey of the Shopping Center Group, to come in with them to have a discussion with the Fraser residents. And they wanted to set up a meeting with you guys soon to discuss a different use rather than a travel center.
We are honored to talk about that as long as it is clear that we are saying we do not want a truck stop there.
Well, if we don't know what the proposed use is, there's not anything that this body can vote on. And right now, by delaying it, we're not voting on anything until you guys meet and come back before this body.
I think I understand what was just said. We're clear that we've been here and we're saying we do not want a truck stop. We're asking for this council to continue to allow us to look at a comprehensive plan that works around the anchor. You're about to spend $5.1 million on the Rodney Baber Park. That is going to be a game changer. Allow us, we've been creative, allow us to do some different things. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you.
Councilman Boyd.
Based on that, that information, we understand that you guys, that we don't want a truck stop in Fraser. And let me just make sure, and I'm gonna ask this question so we can try to move to the next item. Are you guys okay with holding this item to discuss with Ms. Salamito Baser and Mr. Massey and the developer a different use for that property?
Rebecca Murray, 2926 North Tresvant. I want a vote on this particular thing to end. If we can end this, they can come back and present.
Let me just explain this part to you. Hold on 1 second. Let me just explain. They have spent money. So they're saying before going through the application process all over again, they don't want to go and spend additional money to do this. So they want to meet with you guys to discuss recommendations and suggestions from the community for different uses. I'm only the messenger reading exactly what they said to me. And if you guys say you don't want any development whatsoever on that corner, we can call for the question and vote on it and kill it. But They're saying, we get it, no truck stop, we're willing to change the use on that corner. So they wanted to meet with you guys to discuss potential uses.
I'm sure we're all in agreement with meeting with them and bringing something to the community, to that area. We all agree with that. But again, we want to make sure, and very sure, that no truck stop be placed in that community where we're developing that $64 million park. We are all in favor of healthy living, green spaces, and so we want to make sure that anything that comes in that community, in that particular area, anything with that area has to do with our healthy living, a restaurant, hotel. If they want to talk in terms of particular things that we want, sure, we are willing to meet with them. I think I can speak on behalf of the rest of the group, is that we are willing to sit down with them and speak with them on that. But we want to make sure of the things that we bring in there, and that the revision, will be informed of all the revisions that will be taking place and not be sidetracked by something that goes under the table and we miss out on.
Thank you. Thank you. No, we can't. The rules don't allow that, but we'd love to hear from you if you'd like, Mr. Johnson. Then we'll go to council members.
My name is Larry Johnson. I'm at 3043 Rock Bass Drive in the Sky Lake subdivision area. Been a homeowner there for over 30 years. I appreciate Councilman Boyd making that stipulation and making us aware of that. I would agree and concur with taking time to make sure, as the young lady said before, that there is no truck stop. We want to be very certain that this is not some other means of achieving a diabolical end. I just want to make sure that this thing is what it says, and I do appreciate you all taking the time for hearing us. Our young people are watching this. We had at least 15 to 20 young people, future Memphians, who we desire to build a community that once they leave, go to school, we want them to come back to be productive citizens of this community. Please allow us that opportunity in our community to bring something for our children to want to support and live and come back to Memphis for.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I've got Councilman Brown. You're in the queue, Councilman Brown? Okay. And then Councilman Jones to follow. Councilman Brown.
Thank you, Chairman. You know, I've seen this over my 18 years of experience, that when people don't want anything in their communities, and it's a process, especially something that's not good for the community. And that was that truck stop. But at the same time, we hear on a bait and switch situation. Now the developer said they have another idea. I do know one of the principals, that name was mentioned. I'm sure they don't do things like that. But at the same time is, regardless of who it is, it could be one of the biggest developers in the city of Memphis. But it has to be, the process has to be fair to the citizens of Fraser. That's the key. This is not a power play, because the power is in the hands of the residents of that community, in the Fraser community. That's where the power is. Politicians got no power. Their power is to sit here and we're going to do 13 votes. We got 13 council members here. But what's fair for the process? What's fair for the process? Sure, it's disturbing to me that you have to continue to come back and beg like some slave about something that you don't want in your community. I don't like that. And I'm going to tell you this, and I stand alone to any of the developers. I stand alone. I can hold my ground. But it's been a long time since I've been in a protest. It's been a long time since I had the community organizing. But I can promise you, I can organize 10,000. And I know that for a fact. So, but the thing is, because I've been trained, and the thing is, we want the process to be fair. And it's not fair to the citizens, the men, the women, the children, and the seniors in that area. They want a quality neighborhood. Fraser is one of the most scenic communities, neighbor communities in the United States of America. It's number one. It is number one for having the scenery. It's scenic because of the way that the roads are and the hills and the terrain. So what is this all about? Every time something has to be dumped, it's dumped in a predominant African-American community. I ain't worried about what I say. It's 7 black folks up here, and I know how they need to vote. They look like you and me, and I'm not here on a racial thing. I'm on here about reality for communities. Because I vote in all of the neighborhoods. I vote in the white ones. I vote in any community that's what's right and what's fair. But at the same time, I'm not going to let you suffer, my own folks suffer. Something is wrong with that picture. And I'm not afraid to speak up and speak out. What you going to do to me? You can't take my Social Security. So what you going to do? I'm elected. I'll be elected for the next 3 years and 7 months. So something's wrong. I just want to do what's right. I want my colleagues to do what's right. If Councilman Corvette come to me about something in one of his communities, I'm going to deal with it. But the thing is, I want to do what's right about people. We all should want to do what's right about people, even the mayor. Yes. He's listening. But at the same time, those are things that we want to do. We're just not going to let developers come in and hoodwink the people. This has got to stop somewhere. So my thing is that, look, continue to take your stands, Reverend. Mr. Binion, Mr. Johnson, continue to take your stand, ladies. Stand up for your community. You don't stand now, we don't know what it's going to look like futuristic coming up at this next presidential election. So take your stance now for things that you believe in your community. And don't take no back step. We're not for sale. We are not for sale. No silver can buy us. So we don't want that. So the thing is, it's disturbing to me. I hadn't been disturbed in a long time. But this is one time that it's disturbing to me on what happens in the communities that I serve. I'm in Super 8 district, so it is my district. But at the same time, I can feel your feelings. So we're just not going to let you leave, but stand up for what's right. When they bring it to you, if it's not right, then send them back. That's all I can tell you. Thank you. God bless you.
Councilman Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would encourage the community members as well as the developer to approach this with an open mind. With this being Super District 8, this location used to be, I remember when this was a treasury, back when I was a little boy. But there was also a treasury at the corner of Elvis Presley and Holmes. There's a Walmart there now. And then there also used to be a treasury at Lamar and 240. So the Lamar location in 240 as well as the Hollywood location in 40, those areas, those plots have been vacant for probably 30 years. And so with the condition that they're in, we probably receive little to no tax money from that. So if the land there remains undeveloped, I can understand your objection to this particular business, but if it remains undeveloped, we don't receive anything, and so that's less money that could potentially go back to that Fraser community by it being undeveloped, vacant. I thought that it may have still been standing there, like the one at Lamar and 240 is still standing. The one at Hollywood and 40 is not. But I would encourage you to have an open mind about this, because with it being vacant, with no activity there, that's less money to go back into the Fraser community. So I would just encourage you to have an open mind when it comes to development, and just don't say no to anything that's going to be proposed there. But thank you for coming down and being active in the future of your community.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Councilman Brown, you have 1 minute left.
FYI, for the information to my colleagues, the new ones. That store, that Target, was it Walmart? Treasury stores. They were located in 2 districts. They closed those stores, were closed by designs so they can move forward with these malls. They did to close those retail outlets out where they could push people to the malls. That's the same thing they did in Raleigh. They destroyed Raleigh malls in order to push the people to Wolf Chase. Everything is by design, but you got to really understand the method. The method is to close the malls down, to move the people to Wolf Chase. Now people that shopped in Raleigh, they have to go to Wolf Chase. When people were shopping over by the other treasury store, they went to Oak Court. Now you got Target Mall down in Mississippi. That pushes the people out of Southland Mall. So it's all by design. See, developers are in business to make a profit.
Councilman Brown.
And what they do, they design things for diaspora, where they can move people from one place to another. A lot of people in Memphis go down in South Haven to the new mall.
Councilman Brown, you've reached the end of your time. Unless someone wants to yield
I'm
some
gonna
time.
let me wrap it up. The wrap up is that they move people by design. They close business entities by design to move people somewhere. So they just didn't just close.
Thank you, Councilman Brown. Thank you. Any other council members in the queue have got a bit of an issue with had an issue with the screen? Anybody else wish to speak on this topic? Has questions been called? Let me just, a vote in the affirmative is to hold this item for 2 weeks. So a yes vote is to hold for 2 weeks.
Okay. Thought you said it was going to be after.
I apologize. Mr. Chairman, point of clarification. We do not tend to hear planning and zoning cases during budget season, so the first time we would be able to hear this would be in July, if I am not mistaken.
Okay. So what's the date? Did you state the date?
July 5th.
All right.
Clarify my motion, July 5th.
Thank you.
Then.
Thank you for that.
I apologize. Thank you, sir.
Please cast your vote, council members. A yes is a hold until July 5th.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Colvette, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, no. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Please call the next item.
That will take us to item number 6, a resolution approving a hotel motel waiver for Durman Hotel Group LLC located at 22 North 3rd Street, Memphis, Tennessee 38103. This resolution is sponsored by the Office of Planning and Development. The case number is HMW 16-03.
Councilman Colvette.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Is the applicant for HMW 16-3 present? May I have your name and address for the record, sir?
Kamlesh Patel, 1219 Green Tea Drive South, Hernando, Mississippi.
And you are Mr. Patel?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Is there opposition to item number 6, case HMW 16-03? Seeing none, Mr. Chairman, due to a lack of time, we could not hear this in committee, but to all council members, we have staff present and ready to give you a presentation. Otherwise, with that, I move it to the floor for consideration.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilman Colvette, seconded by Councilman Ford. Councilman Ford.
I don't need one.
I don't think, do any council members wish for a presentation?
I don't need one. I'm just going to
Okay.
ask my usual.
Go ahead.
Mr. Patel, I usually ask these same 3 questions whenever a hotel motel waiver comes. First question, is this property on 22 North 3rd Street going to be an hourly rate hotel?
Absolutely not, sir.
I like how you said that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Absolutely not. And what will your rates be?
It can
on
vary.
average?
It can vary once it's converted to the franchise that we want, anywhere between 105 and 125, depending on what's
All
going
right.
on.
Sounds good. And if I pulled a police report the last year or so, how's the, there's not a lot of crime in that area. Well, I'll put it this way. I usually pull something up, but I'm going to ask you this question. Do you have everything in place so that your establishment will not create a lot of things that we don't want to see in this community?
Yes, sir.
All right. Those are my 3 questions. They've been answered. Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Ford. Seeing no other council members in the queue, please cast your vote for item 6.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Colvette, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Please call the next item.
Item number 7 is a resolution approving a planned development located at 7684 U.S. Highway 64 containing 1.03 acres in the Conservation Agriculture District. This resolution is sponsored by the Office of Planning and Development, case number PD 16-05.
Councilman Colvett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is the applicant for PD 1605 present?
Yes.
Hello, may I have your name and address for the record, please?
Jennifer Paragoy with Kimberly Horn, 6625 Lennox Park Drive, Memphis.
Thank you very much. Is there opposition to item number 7, PD-1605? Seeing none, Mr. Chairman, because of time constraints, we could not hear this case upstairs, but we do have staff on hand if any of the council members would like a presentation. But with that, I move it to the floor for consideration.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilman Colvett, seconded by Councilman Ford. Seeing no council members in the queue, please cast your vote for item 7.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Colvette, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Please call the next item.
Item number 8 is a resolution approving a street alley closure located 220 feet east of the center line Able Street, containing 241 feet by 38 feet in the vacant commercial mixed-use 3 district. This resolution is sponsored by the Office of Planning and Development. The case number is SAC 16-04.
Councilman Colvett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I see the applicant, Mr. Baker, is with us. May I have your name and address formally for the record?
Yes, sir. My name is David Baker. I'm with Fisher Arnold. The address for the record is 9180 Crestwind Hills, Memphis.
Thank you very much. Is there opposition to item number 8, SAC 16-04? Seeing none, Mr. Chairman, in the interest of time, we could not have the committee meeting upstairs, but staff is on hand and ready to present the case if any of the council members wish to hear it. But with that, I move it to the floor for consideration.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilman Colvett, seconded by Councilman Brown. Seeing no council members in the queue, please cast your vote for item 8.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Colvette, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Please call the next item.
Item number 9 is a resolution approving a street alley closure located at the south side of Melinda Avenue, plus or minus 330.16 feet east of Wells Station Road, containing 0.15 acre in the residential single-family district. This resolution is sponsored by the Office of Planning and Development, case number SAC 16-05.
Councilman Colvett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I see Mr. Baker is again the applicant. His address is already noted for the record. Is there any opposition to item number 9, case SAC 16-05? Hearing none, Mr. Chairman, we did not have time to hear it upstairs. Staff is on hand to certainly present the case if need be, but with that, I move it to the floor for consideration.
Thank you, Councilman Colvett. It's been moved by Councilman Colvett, seconded by Councilman Boyd. See anybody in the queue on this item, so please cast your vote for item 9.
Boyd, yes. Colvett, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes.
Should we vote yes?
Chairman Conrad, yes.
Councilman Brown voting yes.
Councilmember Brown, yes.
The item passes.
Thank you.
Item 10.
Item number 10 is an ordinance rezoning the east side of Prescott Road, 733 feet north of Rains Road, containing 5 acres in the R8 district, up for third and final reading. This ordinance is sponsored by the Office of Planning and Development. It was held from 419. The case number is Z16-01, ordinance number 5613.
Councilman Colbert.
Third hearing. Is the applicant on item number 10 present? May I have your name and address for the record, sir?
Yes, Lee Davidson, 6800 Poplar Avenue, Memphis.
Thank you very much. Is there any opposition? Number 10, Z16-01. Hearing none, Mr. Chairman, in the interest of time, we could not hear the case upstairs, but staff stands by ready to present to any of the council members if they so wish. With that, I move it forward for consideration.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilman Colbert, seconded by Councilman Hedgepeth. I don't see anybody seeking a presentation or wishing to speak on the item, so please vote for item number 10.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Colbert, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes.
Thank you.
Please call the consent agenda.
We have 3 items on our consent agenda up for first reading. Item number 11, an ordinance to appropriate the proceeds of the tax levy on the assessed values on all properties of every species within the city limits for general purposes for the fiscal year July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017, inclusive, together with all collections from privileges, licenses, fees, fines, permits, charges, requests, transfers from non-budget accounts, earnings, refunds, and all other items constituting the revenue receipts of the City of Memphis for the fiscal year July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017, inclusive, to provide the manner in which monies may be transferred from one fund to another, and to provide the standard code of designations under which the appropriations are to be administered and accounting control maintained. Up for first reading, ordinance number 5616 is sponsored by the Finance Division. Item number 12 is an ordinance to fix the tax rate of the City of Memphis for fiscal year 2017. Up for first reading, ordinance number 5617 is sponsored by the Finance Division. Our add-on item, ordinance number 5618, ordinance designating and approving various uses and purposes for the city's park, known as Overton Park, pursuant to Section 579-1 of the Charter, and to ratify the March 1st, 2016 Memphis City Council resolution designating and approving various uses and purposes for the city's park, known as Overton Park, and modified by this ordinance non promptant to the effective date of said resolution. Mr. Chairman, that concludes our consent agenda items.
Thank you. The consent agenda has been moved by Councilman Boyd and seconded by Councilman Ford. Please cast your votes for the consent agenda.
Boyd, yes. Colbert, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Please call the fiscal consent agenda.
Item number 13 on our fiscal consent agenda is a resolution accepting grant funds in the amount of $5,506 from the State of Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development Division for WIA Title I Adult Program. This resolution is sponsored by Workforce Investment Network. Item number 14 is a resolution accepting grant funds in the amount of $6,259 from the State of Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development Division for WIA Title I Dislocated Worker Program. This resolution is sponsored by Workforce Investment Network. Mr. Chairman, that concludes our fiscal consent items.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilman Boyd, seconded by Councilman Spinoza. Councilman Boyd.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I am requesting same night minutes for those for items number 13 and 14 without objection.
Okay. Any objection to same night minutes for items 13 and 14? Okay. Thank you. Seeing none, we'll have same night minutes on these items. I don't see anybody in the queue. Please cast your vote for item 13 and 14.
Boyd, yes. Colvett, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Please call the Memphis Light, Gas, and Water fiscal consent agenda.
That will take us to item number 15, a resolution awarding a contract to AutoNation Ford doing business as Dobbs Ford for sedans and light-duty vehicles in the amount of $873,278.10. Item number 16, a resolution awarding a 36-month contract to UniFirst Corporation for uniform rental services in the amount of $81,799.14. Item number 17 is a resolution approving payment of an invoice to Service Electric Company for contract number 11613, Emergency Storm Restoration Agreement, based on agreed-upon rates in the funded amount of $225,776.12. Item number 18 is a resolution approving change number 2 to contract number 11676, Professional Engineering Services with Allen and Hoschel. Item number 19 is a resolution approving payment of an invoice from the Tennessee Valley Public Power Association for the 2016 annual membership dues in the amount of $51,441.80. Item number 20 is a resolution approving change number 1 to contract number 11657, generator repair services with Cummings Mid-South in the funded amount of $100,000. Item number 21 is a resolution approving change number 2 to contract number 11566, replacement of distributed process control system at all MLGW pumping stations with Allen and Hoschel in the funded amount of $1,399,200. Item number 22 is a resolution approving a contract of sale for the purchase of property located on the northeast corner of Shelby Drive and Sweeney Road and Nicotundese for and in consideration of $165,000 for various well lots to serve the Davis Pumping Station. Item number 23 is a resolution awarding a contract to Engineered Ceiling Components for underground fittings in the amount of $2,532,129.82. Item number 24 is a resolution awarding a contract to Brighter Days and Nights, Inc. for mounting base assemblies in the amount of $65,878.95. Item number 25 is a resolution approving change number 1 to C Agreement C 1952 Leadership Coaching with Brenda Bryant, doing business as Bryant and Company, in the funded amount of $25,025. Item number 26 is a resolution approving change number 2 to contract number 11669, Property and Boiler Insurance with Factory Mutual Insurance Company, in the funded amount of $1,029,069. Item number 27 is a resolution awarding contract number 11850, MLGW Employee Assistance Program to Methodist Healthcare EAP, in the funded amount of $117,500. And item number 28, Mr. Chairman, is a resolution awarding a 12-month contract to Access Builders, LLC, for luminaires and steel poles in the amount of $475,755. And that concludes our MLGW fiscal consent items.
Thank you. Councilwoman Robinson. I'm sorry. It's been moved by Councilman Robinson. I'm sorry. Seconded by Councilman Ford. Seeing no discussion, please cast your vote for the MLGW consent agenda.
Boyd, yes. Colvett, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Councilmember Brown, yes. And Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Councilman Fuller.
Yes, I need to ask President Collins a question very briefly, if that's okay.
We kind of already voted.
Oh, well,
so.
I mean, we hadn't got past it yet.
Can you go? He's out there.
It's just very quickly. President Collins, I have a question I'd like to ask you.
I mean, we've already voted, so.
Yeah, we've already voted, but I just have something else to ask.
I'm going to have you ask him offline.
First of all, I want to say thank you very much, President, for, I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday. Of course, we had unexplained wind and rain that came our way, which left a lot of power outages.
Real quick, are you?
Yeah, hold on. I want to.
Is this related to the consent agenda?
Huh?
Is this related to the consent agenda or something separate?
Well, it's related, yeah.
So you're not asking about anything on here?
Yeah, you're going to find out in 1 minute.
We're going to have to move on. We've already voted. If you want to overrule, and we can have a vote on it, but
I don't want to We're President. I'll talk to him, President.
Okay, thank you. Please call item 35. Please call item 35.
Sure, Mr. Chairman. 1 moment, please. What's in number 35? Item number 35 is a resolution requesting the approval of the sale of the old Central Police Station.
Adams Avenue, Adams Historic District, in Memphis, Shelby County, Tennessee, and further described as parcel 0020190001, which must be subdivided to exclude the Fire Museum and Civic Center Garage. Per ordinance, the sale of the subject parcel
is subject to the offer laying over for a future council meeting to allow for an increase of bid. Therefore, the second reading and approval of increase in bids, subject to the initial increase being a minimum of $500 and additional bids being $50 or more, if any, shall be deemed as approval of sale. Resolution also authorizes the mayor to execute the necessary documents in connection with the sale. This resolution is sponsored by General Services. You're welcome, sir.
My mic on? Yes, thank you. Apologies for that technical difficulty there. Councilman Hedgepeth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee met, recommend approval, and I so move.
It's been moved by Councilman Hedgepeth, seconded by Councilman Boyd. We'll go to Councilman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to let my colleagues know that this is a motion. It moves this to the floor, and we're allowed to vote on it. But this does not finalize the deal by voting for this item tonight. It's simply to start the process. However, on May 17th, at our next council meetings, other vendors or individuals interested in purchasing this building can participate and come in and buy the building. So I just wanted to let all of my colleagues know that. So voting for this just moves the process, but other people will have an opportunity, if interested, May 17th. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Boyd. Any other council members seek recognition on this item, item 35? Seeing none, please cast your vote for item 35.
Boyd, yes. Brown, no. Covett, yes. Ford, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Swearingen, yes. Councilwoman Fully Love, yes. Councilman Spinoza, yes. Chairman Conrad, recused.
The item passes. Please call item 29.
Item number 29, appointments.
Hold on 1 second.
No problem, sir.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Would you still like to, please, Ms. West, I'm sorry. We had a comment card, and it had been sitting here for a while.
Thank you, Councilman Brown. I appreciate you checking on that for me. Thank you, Council. I appreciate you listening. As June West, Executive Director of Memphis Heritage, 2282 Madison Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee, we are very excited about this purchase with the plans to repurpose this historic property. We will be in support. We are very grateful for the administration to have added to the sales contract that the integrity of this building will be maintained and it will remain on the historic register. And we're very honored to work with the group that's developing it. And if we can be of assistance, let us know. And we're so happy that the mayor and the administration put that in the sales contract. And we're very, 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 very happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for reminding me about that. Item 29.
Appointments to the Civilian Law Enforcement Review Board, Dr. June Chin Jointer, Dr. James Latta. Health Educational and Housing Facility Board, appointments, Carolyn Head, Buckner P. Welford.
Councilman Spinoza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Committee met, recommends approval, and I so move.
Been moved by Councilman Spinoza, seconded by Councilman Boyd. Seeing no one in the queue, please cast your vote for item 29.
Council members, please cast your votes for item number 29. Boyd, yes. Covett, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Jones, yes. Swearingen, yes.
Councilman Brown,
Oh,
yes.
Councilmember Brown, yes.
The item passes. Item 30.
Item number 30 is an ordinance amending ordinance number 5595, Title 5, Chapters 20 and 40 of the Memphis Municipal Code to revise the definitions of hotel and transient and Section 5-40-5 funding up for third and final reading. Ordinance number 5614 is sponsored by the Finance Division. It was held from April 19th.
I already moved it, Kim.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Boyd, seconded by Councilman Hedgepeth. Before we go to council members, I got two speakers.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. I've got Kevin Kane and Wayne Tabor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kevin Kane, 47 Union Avenue, Memphis. The council, in the end of 2015, approved this ordinance unanimously, and with one caveat, to exclude hotels that were 35 rooms or smaller that charged a rate of $35 or less. And at that time, it was presented to us by those hotel owners that the majority of those hotels, and I have a list of those properties right here, serve low-income Memphians in many cases and do not participate in the tourism or hospitality industry. So the industry, of course, which is basically taxing themselves, imposing a fee on what they have to charge their guests, unanimously supported that with that caveat. So today we're just a little concerned because we know there's been some discussions with larger hotels that charge higher rates to also be excluded, and I'm just afraid that if we start moving this needle up, we're going to compromise the intent of what this this ordinance was supposed to do for our industry. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kane. Wayne Tabor.
I'm Wayne Tabor. I'm at 160 Union Avenue. I'm president of the Memphis Hotel Lodging Association and the general manager at the Holiday Inn downtown. I just wanted to say that we looked at all these hotels that that were lower rated and lower occupancy hotels, and we thought that the 35 cutoff was a good place to be. If that increases any, we're going to be getting into some hotels that that are larger, that charge more than that would run an average rate of higher than $35. I think it would get real confusing if we looked at anything higher than $35. We also agreed to that from the Hotel Association to help out the lower income guests that stay in these hotels. It's the guest that eventually is paying that $2 charge, not the hotel operator.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tabor. Go to council members now. Councilman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to offer a friendly amendment to this ordinance. I spoke to Kevin Kane about this, and hopefully we can do it without objection. My amendment would keep it remaining at $35, but increase the room to 45 rooms. And I'm sure, Mr. Kane, based on our discussion, that increases the number by, 6 additional hotels?
We'll increase by 8 hotels.
By 8 hotels, and you are fine with that amendment, sir?
Not happy with that amendment because I think it causes a little confusion for hotel operators. We thought the 35 would still be the appropriate thing, but the most important thing is the rate integrity, because if we start raising the rates up into the 40s, you have a situation where you're going to have large.
Well, I'm not touching the rates, just the room count. So keep it at $35 rate with 45 rooms.
We're actually would like to see it stay at 35, but the most important thing to us is the rate integrity.
Okay, well, Mr. Kane, our conversation was a little bit different than that on the phone. So we said that you were fine with it. You didn't like it, but you could live with the $35 room rate and the 45 room count. With that motion, I ask my colleagues to approve it without objection. And if you guys want to debate it, we can debate it.
Okay, there's been an amendment. Okay. Councilman Ford.
Thank you very much. Either Mr. Tabor or Mr. Kane, can you answer one question for me? Either one, I don't care. Well, you can't answer from there. I need you to come over here. I mentioned this 2 weeks ago to where I wanted to make sure that we had funds available in order to take care of the indebtedness to the FedEx Forum, as well as making sure that we had enough money to pay on renovations of the convention center, which the new council and the older council have already discussed. Will Councilmember Boyd's amendment negatively affect those two things that I just mentioned, whether it is the indebtedness on the FedEx Forum, whether it's the TID, or whether it's anything like that? Would it negatively affect either one of those items?
We have no way of knowing for sure the financial impact because we do not monitor the individual, we're not allowed to monitor the individual rates of individual properties. As I said, shared with Councilman Boyd last night on the phone, we're talking about 8 hotels. 3 of those hotels are branded properties versus the hotels that are 35 and less, only one of those was branded properties. So, you know, branded properties typically charge higher rates than small independents. But to give you an exact dollar amount, what the impact would be, we have no way of knowing that other than to say it obviously will probably be less. I don't think it will be significantly less because we're only talking about a handful of hotels. And as I said with Councilman Boyd last night, the most important thing is the not moving the rate integrity up because that would compromise a lot more than just 8 more hotels.
I'm going to say more if the rate was changed, it would negatively affect those
That's
two
correct.
items and not necessarily the rooms.
That's correct.
Okay, one last follow-up, because like we're opening this up to where after 6 or 12 months, we can have another amendment on top of another amendment. Would it ever get to a point to where if the rooms are brought up later down the road, it could affect those two things as much as changing the rate?
That is absolutely correct. It could have a very negative impact on the entire ordinance.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That's Councilman Ford. Councilman Jones, you are in the queue, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, you could.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so there was an amendment, but is there objection to go into the?
Yeah. I got to, yeah.
Okay, so Councilman Jones, there is an objection, and Councilman Ford as well. So we'll go to a, why don't you, I guess, can you put that in the form of a motion?
Yes.
All right, so there's an objection to the amendment. So we'll go ahead now and speak to the amendment. Moved by Jones, seconded by Ford.
Thank you,
Councilman
Mr.
Jones.
Chairman. What you have before you, colleagues, is a list of all of the hotels in Memphis. This is a list of 146 properties in total. Based upon the suggestion that I had at the last meeting, was not quite to move it to a $45 rate. I think I've received information that said that the average room rate outside of downtown was $85. And my motion was to split the baby in half and come up with a rate that was essentially one half of what the average rate was. As far as this affecting the tourism industry, I would note that the properties that are located, that would be included if we raise it to, and my recommendation was going to be 43 rooms, 43 $43 room rate. But those zip codes are 38112, 38114. There were 2 in 38134. Only one that would be considered downtown Midtown, 38104, 38118. There were 38118. And so based upon the original motion that I was going to bring, which was going to be 4343, there will only be 6 locations. Now, I would also mind you that in order to be exempt, a property has to meet 2 criteria, not just 1. So it has to be what the room number is, what the room count is, and what the room rate is. So if they have 42 rooms, well, they have to have a rate that's 42 or lower. If you do the math here, at $35 times 7 days a week, we're talking weekly rates, that comes out to $245, which is $980 a month. When you're talking about just a total cost for that location to rent 4 weeks, 7 days a week, $980. But I would contend that the negative impact would be minimal if we're talking about how it's going to affect future payments, receipts for the Convention and Visitors Bureau if we raise it to that 43. If we go 4343, we will have just 6 additional properties. Those additional properties will be a total of 224 rooms out of 15,259. So we're talking about 1.46% additional rooms by raising it to a 4343. So versus 8 additional properties, we would be talking about only 6 additional properties. But I still would mind you that in order to qualify, they have to meet both the $43 room rate and have a number of 43. So if this branded hotel has a rate that's higher than 45, so if it has an average rate of $47 or $49, it does not qualify for the exemption. It would have to meet both of those criteria. So I would encourage I would make an amendment to the friendly amendment to raise the room rate to 43 and the number of rooms to 43 as well.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been, so we got amendment to the amendment.
Who's going to be the second motion? Yeah, he'll be the second, but.
Yeah, right. So we'll have to vote on this. So, all right, now we're on Councilman Jones' amendment to Councilman Boyd's amendment to go to 4343. And I've got Councilman Boyd in the queue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And to my colleague, Mr. Councilman Jones, all due respect, sir, my concern and the reason why I did not touch the rate is simply because when you have hotels and they're trying to sell their nights, they change their rates accordingly, whether it's a larger mid-sized property. So my fear is we're going to get into a rate war where individuals can find that loophole in the law, change their rate so that they don't have to necessarily comply. That's my issue, and that's why I wanted to stay with the room count as saying $45 and $35 room rate, because I don't think they're willing to go as low as a $35 room rate, but I see some that may be willing to go as low as a $43 room rate if they're not sold out. And that was my justification as to doing it and not touching the rate.
Yes, sir. Councilman Jones.
If we look at and I'm just using this as an example, Mr. Boyd, the Days Inn in the zip code 38118, at the 43 level, they would not qualify because they have 48 rooms. They have to meet both criteria, the room rate as well. So if we're talking about this at the 43 level, this Days Inn that's in the zip code 38118, if they took their room rate to $25, they would not qualify because they have 48 rooms. So as if I'm not mistaken, the way that the ordinance is worded, they have to meet both. And so we're talking about, we're splitting hairs here really, because we're talking 6 versus 8. But even out of these 8, let's say we do take it to 50. If if we keep it at 43, these additional rooms, these two additional rooms, this roadway in, this Days Inn, because they have more than 43 rooms, they would not be able to play with the rates. And those that would be able to adjust the rates, none of those are, I would contend, that would be in the affected district or the district that we're trying to protect, that being the tourist entertainment zone of the 38103, 38104. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Any other council members seeking recognition on this item? Yeah, this is Councilman Jones' amendment. Would you mind just repeating it for us? 43. Okay, just real quick before we vote. I know Councilman Ford and I actually sponsored this last year. The industry's worked hard to propose something, that I think works. Very, very rarely do you see an industry want to tax itself. It's going to the convention center, which we desperately need. So I very much appreciate both of these amendments proposed by my colleagues, but I would encourage my colleagues to vote no on both amendments and vote yes for this as originally proposed. Please cast your votes, council members.
Boyd, no. Covett, no. Ford, no. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, no. Jones, yes. Morgan, no. Robinson, no. Spinoza, no. Chairman Conrad, no.
The item fails. We're back to the First Amendment. Councilman Boyd.
Yes. Just to restate my original motion amendment, I wanted to go to 45 rooms and stay with $35. And I just wanted to make sure if that passes, would the Visitors Bureau and Hotel Association be okay with that?
Yes, Councilman, we'd be okay with that amendment.
Okay. Thank you.
Would you just restate go ahead?
Yes, sir.
For the record, please.
It's keeping everything in place. The only thing we're doing is taking the rate. The rate stays the same, $35, but we just increased the room count to 45 rooms. So hotels with the rate of $35 with a room count that does not exceed 45 rooms.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Boyd. Any other council members seeking recognition? Just to clarify, with that change, with all the parties aligned, I will be supporting this. So, thank you. Please cast your vote.
Boyd, yes. Covett, yes. Ford, no. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Please call the next item. I'm sorry. So item 30 passed as amended.
I got a point of parliament.
Councilman Ford.
Mr. Wade, just real quick, do we have to vote for the main motion as amended, or did we already do that? Because the amendment to the amendment failed, then it went back to the regular amendment. That passed, so do we need to go down one more? Formally, we need to go ahead and vote for the whole thing as amended.
So, yeah, please set up the vote for the resolution as amended by Councilman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're prepared for the vote. As amended. Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Covett, yes. Ford, no. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Item 31.
Item number 31 is an ordinance to amend Chapter 4 of the City of Memphis Code of Ordinances relative to alcoholic beverages general and beer and other light beverages, excluding retail food stores from the location restriction for the manufacture and sale of alcoholic beverages near churches, schools, and other private institutions or residential areas, up for third and final reading. Ordinance number 5615 is sponsored by Councilman Morgan.
Councilman Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met an executive session on this about a month ago, and approval was recommended, and I so move. This is simply just cleaning up our city codes and ordinances to be in compliance with the 2014 November referendum on allowing wine in grocery stores. And there has been an amendment offered, I guess, on it today, or a substitute. Mr. Wade, do you want to explain or talk to that a little bit?
Mr. Wade.
There was a technical change in the ordinance to track the definition of wine to be consistent with the state law definition of wine. Apparently, some language was inadvertently left out. That's why you have a substitute ordinance in front of you. This is to replace what was originally done, and I think Councilman Morgan is moving the substitution for you to adopt tonight.
Okay, thank you. Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Morgan. It's been seconded by Councilman Ford. And we have a question from Councilman Ford.
Just another parliamentary question. Mr. Wade, I'm assuming that there are no significant changes that would make us start over the clock on this ordinance?
No, sir. The caption of the ordinance is broad enough to include the amendment that we're making. It is also consistent with the body of the ordinance. It was just missing a sentence in the definition of wine. If you look at the last sentence, it says wine does not mean alcohol derived from wine that has had a substantial changes due to the wine due to addition of flavoring or additions. That language was inadvertently omitted. It is totally consistent with.
All right, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the queue, please cast your vote for item 31. As amended. Thank you.
Boyd, yes. Colvett, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
Did you say Brown is voting yes?
Councilmember Brown, yes.
Yes, that item passes. Please call the next item.
Item number 32 is a resolution accepting grant funds in the amount of $37,500 from the State of Tennessee Department of Human Services for the Child Support Non-Custodial Parent Employment Demonstration Program. This resolution is sponsored by Workforce Investment Network.
Councilman Boyd.
Committee's met recommend approval. I so move.
It's been moved by Councilman Boyd, seconded by Councilwoman Fullalove. See no one in the queue, please cast your votes for item 32.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Colvett, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Let's call item 33.
Item number 33 is a resolution accepting grant funds in the amount of $275,000 from the Memphis Housing Authority for the Workforce Investment Network Memphis Youth Build Program. This resolution is sponsored by Workforce Investment Network.
Mr. Chair, committee is met, recommends approval, and I so move.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilman Boyd, seconded by Councilman Hedgepeth. Seeing nobody in the queue, please cast your vote for item 33.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Colvett, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. That takes us to item 36.
Item number 36 is a resolution accepting $950,000 in grant funds from the Tennessee Department of Transportation and transfer the required local matching funds in the amount of $50,000 from Project PW01276 to the Union Avenue Complete Streets Retrofit, Project PW01276. This resolution is sponsored by Public Works Division.
Councilman Hedgepeth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee met recommends approval, and I so move.
Been moved by Councilman Hedgepeth, seconded by Councilman Spinoza. Councilman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a question. Is Director Connect here? Director, my question is, we're receiving $950,000 in grant funds for this project. What's the requirements for matching funds on this item? It's just 50?
In reference to this is Robert Connect, Public Works Director, City of Memphis. The Tiger grant we applied for is basically a $40 million grant. That include the federal Tiger grant, we have some state funding, we have some private funding. The city's match came from various sources, included stormwater funds, there's some CRA money. There's, I think, 13 or 14 different sources of money that contributed to this project overall. The greatest portion of the match was actually from this part of the city, some is from the private funds. So we're overmatched. That was part of the contribution. That's how we were able to secure the Tiger grant itself, was through the application process. So we're just, overall, we're under budget because we've been able to be efficient elsewhere. And just this one area, we need to move funding over to accomplish the remaining portion of the project.
All right, thank you, Ms. Connect. I'm just curious because, like I said, I'm just looking at all these line items as it pertains to city match funds with bike lanes. So I'm just curious, but thank you for the explanation.
Thank you, Councilman Boyd. Are there any other council members in the queue on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote for item 36.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Covett, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Item 37.
Item number 37 is a resolution amending the FY16 capital improvement budget by transferring an allocation and appropriating $342,000 in GEO bonds from traffic signals, project number EN01004, to ITS camera deployment phase 1, project number EN01071, for a construction contract with McCrory Electric. This resolution is sponsored by Engineering Division.
Councilman Hedgepeth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee met recommends approval, and I so move.
Been moved by Councilman Hedgepeth, seconded by Councilman Ford. Seeing nobody in the queue, please cast your votes for item 37.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Covett, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Item 38.
Thank you, sir. Item number 38 is a resolution transferring an allocation and appropriating $2,492,628 from land acquisition to fixtures and equipment funded by Capital Pago Sewer in Maxim Biogas Upgrade 2015, project number SW02136. This resolution is sponsored by the Public Works Division.
Councilman Hedgepeth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee met recommends approval, and I so move.
Been moved by Councilman Hedgepeth, second by Councilman Boyd. Seeing no council members in the queue, please cast your votes for item 38.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Colvett, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes.
We're going to our add-ons now.
Yes, and I believe 39, 40, 41, 42, actually everything, 39 through 45 are also same night minutes.
That's correct, sir, and thank you. We'll start with item number 39, a resolution to transfer, allocate, and appropriate funds for the early completion of the Main Street to Main Street multimodal connector project across the Harahan Bridge. The total amount is $950,000 and will be transferred from the FY 2016 allocations for projects PW04108, GA01021, PK07114 to PW04090. This resolution is sponsored by the Public Works Division.
Councilman Hedgepeth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee met recommends approval, and I so move.
Been moved by Councilman Hedgepeth, seconded by Councilman Boyd. No one in the queue, please cast your vote for item 39.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Colvett, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes.
The item passes. Please call item 40.
Item number 40 is a resolution to transfer and appropriate construction funds to replace existing 48-inch and 84-inch sanitary sewer lines near I-40 and McLean Boulevard. The total amount is $7,121,875 and will be transferred from SW02001 to SW02120. This resolution is also sponsored by the Public Works Division.
Councilman Hedgepeth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee met recommends approval, and I so move.
Been moved by Councilman Hedgepeth, second by Councilman Boyd. No council members in the queue, please cast your vote for item 40.
Boyd, yes. Brown, no. Colvett, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Let's call item 41. We've already voted. Please call item 41.
Item number 41 is a resolution accepting two SkyCop camera solutions compatible with existing MPD equipment to be installed in the City View Towers, who gave the necessary funds. The items are being donated by the Memphis-Shelby County Law Enforcement Foundation. The total donation is $13,642.72. This resolution is sponsored by Police Services.
Councilman Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee met, recommends approval, and I so move.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilman Morgan, second by Councilman Boyd. See no council members in the queue.
We have item 41 and 42 for same night minutes, correct?
We do.
Okay.
Any council members in the queue on this item? Does anybody want to speak to this item? Seeing none, please cast your votes for this item. Thank you.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Colvett, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Please call item 42.
Item number 42 is a resolution accepting SkyCop dual enclosure system compatible with existing MPD equipment to be installed in the Red Oaks neighborhood. The funds were raised by the Red Oaks Neighborhood Association. The items were being donated by the Memphis-Shelby County Law Enforcement Foundation. The total donation is $5,631.39. This resolution is sponsored by Police Services.
Councilman Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee met, recommends approval, and I so move.
Been moved by Councilman Morgan, second by Councilman Boyd. Do any council members wish to speak on item 42? Seeing no council members in the queue, please cast your vote for item 42.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Please call item 43.
Item number 43 is a resolution accepting from Fiscal Agent Grow Memphis community garden supplies purchased using $4,000 awarded to the Tennessee Recreation and Parks Association to build a community garden at Senior Center Orange Mound for 1, Community Center Cunningham for 2. This resolution is sponsored by Park Services.
Councilwoman Swearingen.
Thank you, Chair. The committee met. We recommend approval. I so move.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilwoman Swearingen, seconded by Councilwoman Fullalove. Any council members wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote for item 43.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Colvett, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Item 44.
Item number 44 is a resolution accepting grant funds in the amount of $957,103 from the State of Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development Agency for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program Employment and Training Program. This resolution is sponsored by Workforce Investment Network.
Mr. Chair, the committee's met, recommends approval. I so move.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilman Boyd, seconded by Councilman Spinoza. Do any council members wish to speak on item 44? Seeing none, please cast your votes for item 44.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Colvett, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. Call item 45.
Item number 45 is a resolution accepting grant funds in the amount of $4,000 from the U.S. Conference of Mayors Dollar-Wise campaign for the Summer Youth Program to expand financial education efforts within the Summer Youth Enrichment Programs. This resolution is sponsored by administration.
Councilman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The committee's met, recommends approval. I so move.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilman Boyd, seconded by Councilman Morgan. Do any council members wish to speak on this item? Item 45. Seeing none, please cast your vote for item 45.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Colvett, yes. Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes. There is there any objection to adding the hotel motel issue on the same night minutes?
Without objection.
Without objection, we could always also add that to same night minutes. I think that was what item was that?
Item number 30.
Yeah, item 30.
Item number 30.
Without objection will be same night minutes as well. I think that takes us at the end of the agenda, correct? All right. We'll go to comment cards. Lee Cochran. Then Mike Minners and Elaine Bernard.
Yes, my name is Lee Cochran at 179 Richbriar Street. Testing. Okay. I just want to talk about... Oh, Lord. All right. Hello? 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, my name is Lee Cochran, 179 Richbriar Street. And I would just like to, there's been a measles outbreak in Memphis, only about 10 people. And I was just wanting to urge the city council, hopefully it won't come to forced vaccines. But, we should have no rush to vaccinate people and give them their choice not to vaccinate.
Hold on one second, Mr. Cochran. Yeah. Yeah, try to...
Oh, okay. Yeah, hello? Okay. Oh, that's what it is.
No need to get that close either. You stay out.
Well, I want to be heard. Okay. And there you go. But, because everybody should go to Dr. Sherry.
I got it. Hold on. Mr. Cochran. Why don't you stand away from that?
Okay, good idea. Thanks. Anyway, I'd like to encourage all of y'all to... Oh, Lord.
It's off.
That's okay. This is, but everybody go to Dr. Sherry Tenpenny's site, and she has a video that says why you should not say no to vaccines. And Big Pharma and CDC, they've been guilty of corruption and fraud, and a mother shouldn't be forced to play Russian roulette with her sons and everything. And really, vaccines have not been really properly studied, especially in combinations. And thank you. But this is just there's just too much money to be made. We got about 100 other vaccines coming down. Vaccines have aluminum in them and other stuff, about more than 60 toxic ingredients. So let's just don't rush for any force or punishment for non-vaccination. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Cochran.
Okay.
Mike Minners? Mike Minners?
Good afternoon, council members. I'd like to thank you all for your service. My name is Mike Minners at 1209 Grand Street, Memphis, Tennessee. I have two ideas I'd like to share with you guys, and it's my opinion that if you were to utilize these ideas, you would probably go down as the greatest administration in Memphis history. Number one, there are numerous community centers around the city of Memphis. It's my idea to place a workforce investment network satellite office in each one of the community centers that would focus on job readiness, job skills training, and literacy. This will create a labor-ready workforce, considering a manufacturing base that would be beneficial to the city of Memphis is expanding. The second idea is to make MLG&W a public company. Take 49% of it, sell it to the public. Get an investment syndicate, an investment banking syndicate to provide you with a firm underwriting. Take a portion of that funds and put it into research and development for energy savings to manufacturing facilities first. These energy savings should be more substantial than a payment in lieu of tax program, whereby alleviating that burden from the current tax base. And you could take that pilot program, if you choose to do so, and offer it to community nonprofit organizations so that they can utilize it to develop areas within their own communities. There you have it.
Thank you, Mr. Menners. Elaine Bernard, then Catherine Wood, then Anna Hogan.
Hi, I'm Elaine Bernard. I live on Forest Avenue. Can y'all hear me? Name and address. Elaine Bernard, 1623 Forest Avenue. I'd like to talk to you all about Overton Park. And this is way out of my comfort zone, but I feel pretty passionately, so I wanted to come down and say something. I'm a professional that works downtown, and I just found out about this like 30 minutes before the meeting, so I left my office and walked down. I think there's a lot of people that had no idea that this was going to be on the agenda today. You know, I'm not going to tell anybody anything they don't already know. You're all intelligent people. But this is a beautiful old historic park that the city has had and been able to enjoy for a long, long time. And once we take this green space area, which is really the only yard-like area in the park that doesn't have trees, people can go play games, they can throw blankets, towels, read books, hang out, look at other people. Once that's gone, it's gone. It doesn't ever come back again. You know, once green space is gone. And don't we want to be considered to be a forward-thinking city that cares about the environment, or do we want to be in the news and national media as the city that is, you know, we don't care about our green space or the environment? I live in the neighborhood, obviously. I see the people that come in on the weekends. It's out-of-town people. It's not City of Memphis people. It's Arkansas tags, Mississippi tags. They have no idea what's going on. They get up there, and if you have an opportunity to talk to them, it concerns them. And they're like, wow, I don't want to go park on the green space. Yes, sure, I'll go down a side road. And let me tell you that if
you
we
just kind of finish your comments.
If we filled that whole green space with a parking lot, it wouldn't be enough. The cars are filling the green space. They're up and down all the side streets.
You could just kind of wrap up that thought, because everybody gets 2 minutes. So
could I just say one more thing?
we're going to have to go to the next speaker. So just to be clear, everybody gets 2 minutes, and so we're got to try to be fair to everybody. So thank you for your comments. Catherine Wood, Anna Hogan, and then Fergus Nolan.
Hello, my name is Catherine Wood. Address is 5308 Shady Grove Road, Memphis 38120. I'm here speaking on behalf of the Fringe Element. We have a petition here. We have a printed petition here from change.org with over 2,339 signatures requesting that the city stop allowing the zoo to park on the greensward. I'd like to present this petition. I printed out 69 pages. I'd appreciate you to look at it. What we're talking about is we're talking about allowing a business to park in a park. So let's talk about another park and two other businesses, shall we? Marquette Park is rarely used. There are two restaurants, E's 24-Hour Cafe and Patrick's. Patrick's has a great plate lunch. Both parking lots are always full. You can't find a place to park. Since Marquette Park is underutilized, why don't we let the city allow those two restaurants to park all of their cars on Marquette Park and charge $5 and keep the money? That's what you're doing. It's ridiculous when I put it to you that way, but you're allowing a business that loses money to park and charge people, which is a violation of a separate city ordinance, even if you give them a dispensation. So please, don't tear up my park. Don't tear up your park. Don't tear up our park. Mr. Boyd, Ms. Robinson, Mr. Brown, Mr. Morgan, Mr. Jones, you are the free thinkers. You are the people who want this to wait. This resolution you voted on today is just mucking up mediation. Let mediation take its place. Take its course. We appreciate you. We want you. Mr. Morgan, come from the dark side. Come to the green.
Anna Hogan, Fergus Nolan. Then we'll have Kristen Schiebler, I believe. Mary Norman. Anna Hogan? Is Anna Hogan here? Fergus Nolan?
Okay, I've been asked to ask this very specific question. Will this ordinance be amended to reflect the outcome of mediation as it progresses before the final reading on June the 7th? Sorry, my name is Fergus Nolan, 758 North McLean. And can anybody answer that question?
I'll take a stab at that. Absolutely, categorically. I don't think there's anybody on this dais that thinks that parking on the greensward is the best solution. We want a better solution as well. I think we all hope that happens through the mediation process. All we're simply doing is putting the legal framework in place to facilitate that hopeful solution that comes out of mediation. If it doesn't, then the city will make the decision. But we hope the main stakeholders do that. So, yes, we are simply starting the process. The resolution that we passed also, back on March 1, said that there would be a survey done because there are a lot of other stakeholders as well. That is all the ordinance is doing.
Okay, we wanted to get you on the record on that one. We want to be very clear. Not 1 square inch of the greensward and not for 1 second more than the 30th of June.
Not 1 square inch. I have a poem to recite by Sarah.
Chuck Brady, his methods nefarious, makes the state of the greensward precarious. He hates these park champions waving signs behind stanchions, and his PR missteps, they're hilarious. You tied your wagon to this guy, and that was a mistake. Thank you, guys.
Kristen Schiebler? Mary Norman, Nancy Greenwalt. Then I've got Fawn Pettit, Antonio Blair, and Tooth Brown.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm Nancy Greenwalt, and I'm a retired social worker here in Memphis from the Department of Mental Health. And I enjoy the garden in my neighborhood. I live at 755 Dickinson, and I've been in that house since 1980. And I enjoy the Vecca Green Line. I enjoy my neighborhood, and I'm there because of Overton Park. That's why I'm in Memphis, is because of Overton Park. Recently, I decided that I wanted to get to meet more of the people in the park. And so I began going and meeting all these interesting people that Chuck Brady was talking about. And so I've been meeting all kinds of people out there. And as a result, I put together a Facebook page called Humans of Overton Park. And anyone can go and look at it. In the process of that, I've met people of all ages, all races on the greensward, and they all know that it's their real estate. St. George's Independent School of Collierville recently made a field trip to the greensward in Veterans Plaza. They have schools in Germantown, Memphis, and they teach their students about park history. Alejandro moved here from Venezuela just a year ago. When I met him, he said, "I'm here to protect the greensward." And he had his daughter with him, and she was painting. College of Art students, white, black, Asian, take breaks in the park. They use it for subjects in their paintings and their sketches. Countless people who live in apartments near the park think of the greensward as their yard. Emily, a U of M student majoring in community planning, was indignant about cars parked in her front yard. She considers it just that, and it is her real estate. Maris is a student from Rhodes College. She loves the outdoors. She's from New Mexico. She goes to the park every day and walks through the park. Worth Morgan's delightful mother shared childhood stories of the park from when she grew up at 1892 Overton Park one Saturday when I met the councilman and her in the park and invited them to participate in yoga on the greensward.
Thank you.
And you all are invited.
Thank you.
Is that all you can hear from me? Okay, because I've met a lot of people out there. A lot of people.
Thank you very much. Fawn Pettit. Then Antonio Blair and Tooth Brown.
Hi, I'm Fawn Pettit, 2167 Poplar Avenue. I am also a social worker. So thank you for allowing me to speak for a moment this afternoon. I'd like to briefly address the public health and economic factors of this ordinance that you are considering. Past Surgeon General David Satcher said risk factors are not predictive factors due to protective factors. It's no surprise to most of us here today that Memphians face many risk factors, such as being first in urban poverty and first in urban obesity in the U.S. It's incumbent upon the city to employ protective factors like access to free and safe public urban spaces. It is through protection and maintenance of our public resources that we can build a resilient city. That's how we have to protect our citizens. If we give away, if we sell our resources, we're not going to do anything for the health of our citizens. Locally is Bartlett and Germantown that boast well-maintained green spaces. Destruction of our public resources will only serve to chase the tax base away. No one moves to a city for its sprawling zoo. My concern with the ordinance and even the mediation that's underway is that it provides very little avenue for citizens wanting to exercise their duty for civil engagement. As recently as the executive committee meeting today, a city council member attempted to shame the public for getting engaged. This body needs to respond to its citizens. If I can't voice here, I need to know where I need to voice my opinion because I have a right to speak.
Thank you very much. I just want to address a couple things. I very much appreciate the positive civic engagement. This is what I call a high-class problem that we have to solve. And I think we're going to find a solution. And I'm very, very thankful of the passion, the positive passion on both sides of this issue. When I said an executive committee, there is a fringe element. You should see some of the emails we get calling council members Judas Iscariot and Pontius Pilate. And it's unacceptable. That is who I was speaking to. And I was speaking to a comment made by a colleague that we shouldn't simply get a legal instrument in motion because some people might get upset. That maybe the people that are spray painting things or vandalizing property. That is clearly who I was speaking to. I want to make that very, very clear. So you may choose not to believe me, but I do appreciate the activism, and I would ask everybody in this room and everybody on Facebook to simply keep it positive and worthy of all of us as citizens and Memphians, because the opposite kind of behavior could have the exact opposite result that people want. We don't want that. We want a good outcome. It might not be everything y'all want. It might not be everything the zoo wants, but I think there's a common sense solution out there. And I would just ask people to keep it positive. And I thank everybody that's here, that's expressing your thoughts to us in that way. We cherish it. Antonio Blair, Tooth Brown, Stacy Greenberg, Bill Stegall, then Michael Graber, if y'all want to kind of make your way up front here. So, yes, sir, if you could. Is Antonio Blair? Not here, okay. Tooth Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
My name is Tooth Brown. I live at 1347 Harbert, which is in District 6 and Super District 8. And what I want to say is that the zoo does not have a parking problem without the greensward. The zoo might have a revenue problem without using the greensward, but they don't have a parking problem. And we've got a study that leads us to all of the different ways that the zoo has an opportunity to park vehicles without using the greensward. My concern about this ordinance is that the effect of it is not a placeholder waiting for the mediation to happen, but it is something that affects the outcome of the mediation. And specifically because it gives the zoo the opportunity to do what they've actually done previously, which is to walk away from the mediation and continue to use the greensward indefinitely. It empowers the zoo in that respect to use the greensward for parking without doing anything else, and it takes away the incentive of the mediation. I've heard a lot of support that the mediation is where is what our method is for resolving this problem. I don't agree with that in the sense that this is public property. It's in the trust of the city of Memphis. There should be, what's happened in the past is that the zoo and the rest of Overton Park have issued a master plan which becomes public. The public's allowed to comment on it, and we all in the public see what is going to happen, and then it becomes voted on. My concern is that there's no plan here. There's only giving the zoo the power for them to ignore the mediation, and then this problem becomes indefinite.
Yeah, thank you for your comments. And I guess what I would just, and usually we don't, we hear, we don't, kind of respond. I know this is a hot topic and passions run high, but I think just this week or last week, there was a pretty big breakthrough, and I think the zoo did agree to some things. So, and we got 300 more spaces, and there's a lot of other ideas in the OPC report. And so,
and that happened in the absence of this ordinance.
All we're doing is all this does is get the process going, so when the outcome comes, hopefully, we put it into law with an ordinance. If it doesn't, then the city will decide. Mayor Strickland has said that. So that's all we're doing here. We're not trying to change the outcome. We want mediation to continue. We want it to be successful. And I think it is based on the recent actions that have come out of it. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Stacy Greenberg. Then Bill Stegall, Michael Graber, Shep Fargerstein.
Hello, I'm Stacy Greenberg. My address is 2421 Autumn. And I hear what you're saying about starting the legal process, but the way the ordinance reads now is unacceptable, and there's a fear it will pass unchanged. Why not let us have 3 true readings after mediation? There's a lot of, we understand what you're saying, but there's a lot of mistrust after what happened before, and so that's why you're getting us here again and again. So I guess I would like to understand why we can't wait and have 3 true readings after mediation. Did you see what the zoo did after the resolution passed? They took up the entire Greensward. It was shameful. And that really got more people upset than there have been before. And that was what you guys did. You gave them the entire Greensward. Yeah. They have used the Greensward for overflow parking 34 days this year. Only 2 of those days were on Tuesday. We heard a lot about how it's everybody's zoo and how we're denying access to the zoo to underserved communities. No, the zoo is denying access to green space to the entire city. In 10 years, Zambezi is probably going to need to be redone. Maybe in 20 years, we won't even need zoos anymore. But that green space should be there forever and ever and ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Greenberg. Bill Stegall.
Yes, I couldn't. It's Bill Stegall. I live at 316 Stonewall Street.
Steve, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I mispronounced it. I'm sorry.
that's all right. I appreciate all of your service. I was here last time, and I told you that we'd be back again and again. I begged you not to pass the last resolution March 1st, and all it did was create a gigantic mess. And I'm here asking for exactly the same thing. Will you hear me this time? Look, I'm a Memphian. I grew up the son of a mother who made minimum wage. When the summers came, there was no vacation. We were on the no-do, no-go vacation plan. The only place that I had to go to see anything different was Overton Park. So I literally grew up going to that park from all the different tiny apartments that we were living in, one step ahead of the rent collector. So I understand what that park is being used for. When I walk around it now, I don't see many white faces walking around the loop in the evening. It's mostly African American and Latino faces. This is their front yard. They live the way I grew up, in some cheap apartment, using Overton Park as their only place to touch nature. You know, I fell in love with my wife there, and when she died, I walked that loop 1,000 times trying to heal. And that's what people use that park for. And to fence it, to make it into parking lots. I noticed this resolution did not give the OPC the greensward. It gave it to an organization that wants to pave it. Now, the last time I was here, I said I was too old. That I told you I was 15 years old, that I was going to climb into a tree to prevent that park from being destroyed. And I said I was too old for civil disobedience. I want you to know, brothers and sisters, I lied. There are hundreds and thousands of people who are willing to risk anything for this park because they see that it is unique in all the country. No place else in America do you find a wood in the middle of the city. Save it.
Thank you. Michael Graber, Shep Fargerstein, David Jones.
Thank you. My name is Michael Graber. I live at 1614 North Parkway. I have children and grandchildren who live in Memphis, and I am part of this fringe element. And I want to tell you, as that fringe element, I was hired by EDGE to write the economic development plan for the city and council only a year ago. I worked directly with Doug McGowan and his innovation group, doing a lot of work there. I even wrote the business plan for your brother-in-law, Mr. Conrad, his Magic Wand business. So I own a business here. I am an employer. I do this sort of economic assessment for a living. And what I want to say is about two subjects, value and values. Much of the thinking, I infer, is built on a false premise. The zoo lies about its economic impact numbers. In fact, they don't publish them. The only one we can find is from the Panda study. I went out with some of my ethnographers from my business, and we talked to people from out of state at the Greensward. They don't spend nearly as much money in Memphis as they claim back at the time of the Panda exhibit. Again, a faulty premise. And now they're not allowing us transparency into their more recent economic impact study. Please don't believe it. Secondly, if we look at economic value and the zoo as an economic generator, that's one lens. But some things are beyond economic value, even in a city that is desperate for money. Mr. Conrad, in your work with Impact and others, I know that you understand the value of green space to bring out-of-towners to Memphis, how that is seen as an asset in many leading cities from Chicago, growing cities like Nashville and emerging cities. We want to offer this green consciousness to people who will come here and be the next leadership team of Memphis. Again, I just want to thank Councilperson Robinson. It is an empty shell right now, and please don't continue with that charade.
Shep Bargestein, David Jones, Wayne Vanderveer. Then we have Robert Plumley, Beverly Marrero, Catherine Block.
Good afternoon. I'm Wayne Vanderveer, 1561 Peabody. I'm a semi-retired attorney, U-Club member, taxpayer, all of this stuff, and now I'm suddenly fringe. I know you're not saying I'm fringe now, but I've been driven to this this fringe place, I guess, by what's happened and just what I've read in the paper, etc. I've not been a long Greensward person or tree hugger or anything, except when all this process started, we've got the OPC that does a study with city planners and architects to figure out what might be best of solving this parking problem, and the zoo refuses to participate. And then I see City Council does this stealth resolution back in March, not giving anybody notice, and you've got the city attorney oddly rounding up support for the resolution, which I don't understand what that is. In any case, we've got this mediation in place, and the normal end of mediation is usually a consent decree, which apparently is not going to be coming out of this. All we've got is this resolution from y'all again, giving all of the Greensward practically to the zoo for some reason. I know you say it's a placeholder and that's going to go away, but why even have that in there? Unless you're going to go through with it. And I notice also the last reading of this is going to be, during the budget, which will be a big mess and easily, I guess, slipped under the rug and passed at that point without change. And also, as was mentioned earlier, the zoo could back out right now from the mediation, and what do we have? This resolution. And I'm not surprised if that would happen. So, anyway, from another fringe element, stop this ham-handed manipulating, which all it does is just rile people up and rouse people like me who wouldn't even normally be here. I mean, the people I talk to, on one side or the other of this, all agree. What is the zoo doing, and what is the council doing trying to resolve anything? They're not. You're just starting a fire.
Thank you. Robert Plumley. Robert Plumley. Beverly Marrero, then Catherine Laycock.
Good afternoon. Robert Mark Plumley, 2917 Yale. I'm the current communication chair for the Sierra Club, this part of the state here, the Chickasaw Group. The Sierra Club's the oldest environmental group in America, founded in the late 1800s. I'm also a resident and representing Binghamton, a neighborhood less than a mile off the zoo and the park real estate. So Overton Park is for all the people and their families of Memphis. Making decisions without letting mediation go through to its finale at the end of June would be a reckless and uninformed act. And it's also going to negatively affect all of those parties and people and their families involved. Now, currently, there's been a lot of talk today about an ordinance, but there's a current ordinance that prohibits all parking on city parklands right now. Now, without all the facts and maps presented, the most important part, the mediation, can't be resolved. And I'm sorry, without all the facts today or the maps presented, there can be no talk about an ordinance before mediation resolved. So that would have to be after the end of June. So I just want to say that I represent the Binghamton neighborhood. It's a relatively poor neighborhood. It's a depressed area of Memphis, but it's in the heart of Memphis. And there's a lot of good people that are in my neighborhood. I've been there 8 months now, and some of the folks in my neighborhood just a few doors down are been there 30, 40, 50 years, have multiple generations living there. And when the zoo is parking on our Greens ward, the people of our neighborhood can't use it. And so we're taking away that right of all Memphians.
Thank you. Councilman Jones?
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to address the supporters of the park and really talk about a different issue. I know that the city is not in the education funding business anymore, but while we're having our budget session, the Shelby County government is having its budget session too. So because we are Shelby County taxpayers too, I would also ask that while you're contacting us, please contact your Shelby County commissioners too, because the school system right now is facing $86 million funding deficit. And so for all of the advocacy that we're receiving, I think that the children of Memphis would appreciate your advocacy too, and have a voice as loud for the Greens Ward as you can for them too, please. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Beverly Marrero?
My name is Beverly Marrero, and I live at 243 Hawthorne in Midtown Memphis. I'd like to say that I moved into the neighborhood that I moved into in the 1970s in order to, as a single mother, to get my children into Snowden School, which was a great school then and is a great school now, and to have access to the park, because as a single mother, I had very limited finances. I think I can remember the fights that went on from the people who talked to me in a very harsh and ugly manner when I was involved with the people who are trying to stop the expressway going through the park. I had people call me an idiot and a fool because I was such a supporter of stopping that expressway. And people who had moved way out into the suburbs said, oh, the time it takes us to get into town could be shortened considerably if we could build this expressway through the park. And I said then, and I say now, that when you drove out there and bought those houses way out in the suburbs, how long did it take you to get out there? That's how long it should take you to get back in. I think it's important for you to know that we love our neighborhood, we love our park. We are not fringe people. We are tax-paying citizens who care about this community, who work to support public schools. I have spent my life supporting the public school system in Memphis, and I care about not only the children in this community, I care about my park, I care about my neighbors, and I care about my commitment to doing what I think is the right thing. Thank you.
Ms. Marrero? I just said thank you. Catherine Blaylock? Blaylock? Then I've got Gordon Alexander, June West, Lee McCormick, Mia Madison.
Hi, I'm Catherine Blaylock. I live at 3316 West Rosita Circle down in Whitehaven. I spend a lot of time with my dog in Overton Park, just as I've always spent a lot of time in Overton Park when I lived in Midtown. It's not easy being green, so I brought Kermit here today just to remind you how important the green aspect is for Memphis. We are studied by other cities because we have remained green, and we have a park that is like no other in any other place. Our green space is important. It's important for people to be able to go out and play soccer, play frisbee, have fun with your friends, have a picnic, although none of you decided to show up. I represent just myself. I'm not part of some organization that gets to go to mediations and things like that. I would be happy to go to mediations and listen and try and make you logically understand how important green space is for us and our families. To be able to present an ordinance with no Exhibit B, no maps. Some of the representatives have 2 maps. No one understands what's going on. People vote multiple times because they can't even figure out what they're voting on. This is way before what you need to be doing. We need to finish the mediation first and then deal with it on the other end. We have a top-notch zoo, and a top-notch zoo deserves a top-notch parking garage. This top-notch parking garage should be built on their own paved property. Parking on a green area in a park is illegal in this area. You should not be allowing people to park in the green area. This is space that people should be using for their families to be having fun. The fact that we're even looking into this is a really sad state of affairs for our country. I'd like for you to not vote for this resolution when it comes time. I will try to be here as often as I can, but you should really be taking a look at what you want to do with your families in the future, because this is not it. A parking area is not it.
Gordon Alexander.
Hello? Okay. Gordon Alexander, 179 South Rembert Street in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm the founder of the Midtown Action Coalition. I'm also a member of the Overton Park Alliance, which is a group of over 19 organizations who are committed to solving the parking on the Greensward issue. I appreciate Mr. Conrad's comments, but I want to assure you that the thousands of people that are working on this particular issue are not fringe elements and are not vandals. Whatever happened out at the zoo the other day, I assure you, is none of the people that work in all of these different groups and the thousands of people that are working on this. It could have been a bunch of kids, it could have been anybody. But we don't like to be termed as fringe elements or lunatics out there. But thank you for your comments, Mr. Conrad. I would like to read something to you very slowly. Only items involving extreme emergencies may be added to the agenda after the Thursday 10 a.m. deadline, provided also that 2 or more members of the council may voice their objections thereto, and said items shall be added to the next regular agenda. When we were upstairs in the committee meeting, I would like to get a clarification as to why Councilman Morgan, Councilman Jones, and Councilperson Robinson voiced objections to this particular ordinance, and it was still brought downstairs to full council. Mr. Ford was chairing at that particular time, and if Mr. Ford could give me an answer, I would like one. Thank you.
Under Robert's Rules of Order, any standing rule suspended by a majority vote of the council, which is what happened.
May I ask you, Mr. Wade, who brought up having a vote to suspend the rule? I was there and I didn't hear anyone to suspend the rule, which comes off the City of Memphis website. I'm reading it right off your website.
Your time's up, Mr. Alexander.
So no answer?
Ms. West,
No answer?
I'm happy to talk to you after the meeting. Ms. West, Ms. Lee McCormick, Mia Madison.
Appreciate it. But my time hadn't started yet. June West, 1650 Peabody Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee, 38104. I'd like to continue what Mr. Alexander was asking in regards to who on council asked that the rules be suspended. Will anybody respond to that, Mr. Wade?
I don't remember who
I'm not being, I promise you I'm not being agitating. I'm asking. We are citizens and we read what you write and we want to understand it, and you are the legal representation, and so if that was indeed done, I'm just asking who made that motion.
There was a motion to vote on the objections that was done by acquiescence without objection. 7 members approved bringing it downstairs to be added. There was no objection when the consent agenda was voted on tonight, and if 2 objectors had interposed their objection down here tonight, then it would have been appropriate to address it at that time. This was all done appropriately according to our rules. These rules are for the council, not for the public.
Gotcha. Can I ask a question? How many of you on council understand that rule? That was basically what was going on this afternoon. What I'm asking is, did you understand that if you objected at the meeting that the ordinance was not appropriate, did you not have a legal right to say that it would not be put on this agenda as a first reading, but the next meeting's agenda based on your rules? I'm not trying to embarrass anyone. I'm just trying to prove the fact that oftentimes we, the citizens, don't understand what you're doing. We try to follow it, and we need to be educated, and that's what I'm asking for today, is that you let us know, because according to everything, and with all due respect, Attorney Wade, I have been on both sides of that coin. So anyway, I'm sorry I had to leave that, but there are 2 things in your ordinance that I do have a question about, and I'd like to talk to you about it after this. Thank you.
Thank you. Lee McCormick, Mia Madison, Scott Springer, Susan Tooling.
My name is Lee McCormick. I live at 238 Buena Vista Place, Memphis 38112. I work for FedEx. I'm a licensed customs broker. I work in the Global Trade Regulatory Services Division. I'd like to also point out that, is your name Beverly? Beverly is here today from the previous event in the 70s because of what the decision that you guys made on behalf of the zoo. That's what I'm going to do now is read from a friend of mine who wrote something that I agree with. In 30 years, this is forward thinking. I'm requesting that you guys maybe think ahead. In 30 years, the Zambezi River exhibit will be outdated, unpopular, and in need of major renovation. So will Teton Trek, Primate Canyon, Cat Country, and the rest. By then, there may even be a consensus in society that large mammals deserve better existence than can be provided by a traditional zoo. Just as we've seen society pressuring Ringling Brothers to permanently retire their elephants from their shows, which did just happen, I believe, yesterday, and SeaWorld to discontinue the breeding of killer whales, so might we see public opinion force zoos to end the practice of confining large animals, born to hunt and roam miles into spaces that to them are equivalent of jail cells to us. On the other hand, if left alone, the Greensward will not be outdated, unpopular in 30 years. It will not require renovation or repair. It will even be more precious and prized by the next generation. Please think long-term about this issue. We have a rare opportunity in that the best and wisest option is always the easiest. Just leave the darn, he had another word, I'm saying darn, Greensward alone and let people use it in the way that it's been used for a century. Insist that the zoo make responsible development decisions and find solutions within their existing footprint. Do not reward them for bad behavior. If you give them the Greensward now, they will be asking permission for the 9th fairway course in 10 years. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mia Madison?
I think it's on. Is it on? Good evening. My name is Mia Madison. I live at 553 North Mendenhall Road, Memphis, Tennessee, 38117. I am a resident in District 5 and in Super District 9. I am here today as a community information officer. I am presenting to you, the council, a copy of a plan that you all have adopted into existence. This is the Mid-South Regional Greenprint. As a consortium member of the Mid-South Regional Greenprint, you and I, as an executive committee member, are listed on pages 1 and 2. Next to my name, where it says Mia Madison, it also says City of Memphis. During the time that I was employed with the city, I served as the chair of the Social Equity Committee for the Mid-South Regional Greenprint. And what I'm here today to say to you all is that this document should be guiding the equitable participation that comes from the community, in which this document says that you will listen to the people in order to make decisions about what happens in their communities. I also would like a point of information clarified. If the ordinance that was brought forward today to be voted on is to be finalized on June 7th, that actually predates the end of the mediation period. The mediation period says that it ends on June 30th. That is the end of the fiscal year. The City of Memphis fiscal year starts July 1 and ends June 30th. If that is the case, why would we then amend a document to happen prior to the end of mediation? Could you please answer that?
Scott Springer, Susan Tooling.
Is this on? My name is Scott Springer. I live at 28 South Ashelon Road. I'm a pharmaceutical rep with Merck. Appreciate all your attention. Appreciate the service that you give to the city. I'm not representing any group in particular. I'm a runner. I like to run on the grass, sometimes on the golf course. Golf balls get a little close to me, so the Greensward's a good place to run, and I've been known to take wrong turns in the woods. A few weeks ago, out of curiosity, I asked a few people about the economic impact study of the zoo. Select numbers from that study have been used for advertising, public relations, and I assume for lobbying for taxpayer funds via this organization. Added some runaround. So I ended up tracking down the author, Dr. Jeffrey Wallace at the University of Memphis. He told me he's not allowed to share that study with anybody.
directed me to Gina Boyd at the zoo. Got no reply from her, so I eventually requested the study from the zoo via the Open Records Act. I received this letter from Attorney Robert Spence on behalf of the zoo, denying my request to see the study on the basis that the Memphis Zoological Society is a private entity not operating as the functional equivalent of a governmental agency and is therefore not subject to the Act. I'm a drug rep. I can't ask a doctor to prescribe a medicine based on a few cherry-picked numbers from a study, a clinical trial. If they wrote that medicine without more information about the study design, number of people were in it, that sort of thing, then they're not doing their job as a physician. How are we, as tax-paying citizens, supposed to feel when those numbers are being used publicly, but we don't know anything more about it? I'd like to talk a lot more about this because I have a lot of questions. The zoo makes a lot of money in a lot of different ways through concessions, tickets, and $3 to $5 million from taxpayers. Please think about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Springer. Susan Toolin. Susan Toolin. Brother Brody. Thank you, Councilman Ford. Yeah. We have the same night minutes. Councilman Jones, would you read the...
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to read the same night minutes. Number 13, resolution accepting grant funds in the amount of $5,506 from the state of Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development Division of WIA Title I Adult Program. Item number 14, resolution accepting grant funds in the amount of $6,259 from the state of Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development Division for WIA Title I Dislocated Worker Program. Item number 30, ordinance amending ordinance number 5595, Title V, Chapters 20 and 40 of the Memphis Municipal Code to revise the definitions of hotel and transient and Section 5-40-5 funding. Item number 39, resolution to transfer, allocate, and appropriate funds for the early completion of the Main Street to Main Street multimodal connector project across the Harahan Bridge. The total amount is $950,000 and will be transferred from the fiscal year 2016 allocation for projects PW04108, GA01021, and PK07114 to PW04090. Resolution number 40, resolution to transfer and appropriate construction funds to replace existing 48-inch and 84-inch sanitary sewer lines near I-40 and McLean Boulevard. Total amount is $7,121,875 and will be transferred from SW02001 to SW02120. Resolution 41, resolution accepting 2 SkyCop camera solutions compatible with existing MPD equipment to be installed in the City View Towers, who gave the necessary funds. The items are being donated by the Memphis Shelby County Law Enforcement Foundation. The total donation is $13,642.72. Resolution number 42, resolution accepting 1 SkyCop dual enclosure system compatible with existing MPD equipment to be installed in the Red Oaks neighborhood. The funds were raised by the Red Oaks Neighborhood Association. The items are being donated by the Memphis Shelby County Law Enforcement Foundation. The total donation is $5,631.39. Number 43, resolution accepting from fiscal agent Grow Memphis community garden supplies purchased using $4,000 awarded to the Memphis awarded to the Tennessee Recreation and Parks Association to build a community garden at Senior Center in Orange Mound and Community Center Cunningham. Item number 44, resolution accepting grant funds in the amount of $957,103 from the State of Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development Agency for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program Employment and Training Program. Number 45, resolution accepting grant funds in the amount of $4,000 from the U.S. Conference of Mayors Dollar-Wise campaign for the Summer Youth Program to expand financial education efforts within the Summer Youth Enrichment Programs. And that's the last item, Mr. Chairman. And I so move.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilman Jones, second by Councilman Ford. Being no council members wishing to speak on the same night minutes, please cast your vote for special item number 5.
Ford, yes. Fully Love, yes. Jones, yes. Boyd, yes. Morgan, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Councilwoman Swearingen, yes. Brown, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes. Also, Councilmember Colvett, yes.
Who's got you?
Thank you. We have you, Mr. Colvett.
Item passes. Brother Brody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, my name is Walter Brody. I stay at 4256 Ledbetter Cove, Memphis, Tennessee, 38109. It's going to end with prayer. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you. Thank you once again, Father God. Continue to bless each and every member of the City Council, Father God. Father God, give them peace and rest over the decision they made today. Father God, bless all the people behind the scenes, Father God, who's working real hard, Father God. Father God, continue to bless everybody who had made it in today, who still is here, Father God, bless them and all their family members. Father God, bless this whole city, Father God, bless both our mayors, bless the Shelby County Commission members, Father God, bless all our leaders, Father God, in the mighty name of Jesus, amen. Thank you, God.
Amen. Councilman Morgan.
There were a lot of questions asked kind of towards the end during the speaking. I hope that we can keep the conversation, continue to keep it constructive, and I'm going to stay around here as long as people are willing to talk about this and answer as many questions as I can.
Thank you, Councilman Morgan. Move to adjourn. We're adjourned.
Minutes. We need some minutes. Right.